Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Jason. I'll be your host on this CFL talk show, Hussey's Huddle. In this video, we recap Week 10 of the 2022 CFL season. But really quickly, before we get started, if you want to support the channel, as always, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It takes 1 second, makes a massive difference to helping me reach more people on YouTube. And again, I would really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get started with today's video. So I put out an announcement on the community tab saying that I was pretty busy this week and I wouldn't be able to get this video out till Wednesday, but I'm recording now on the Tuesday, just taking a quick break from studying. So this is going to be a little bit quicker of a recap than I normally would. Just going to go over the major point, I think, to take away for every team in the games this past weekend. So starting with the first game, Montreal and Winnipeg, with the undefeated or previously undefeated Winnipeg Blue Bombers finally losing 20-17 in overtime. And what a game. This was just such a shocker with the missed field goal right at the end that would have won the game for Winnipeg. They thought they had 10-0, just all lined up. And then Mark Leggio, who has had a really good season to his credit to before this game this year, but then misses 2 key field goals at the end of this game. Very disappointing for a Winnipeg Blue Bombers perspective to, let go of that undefeated record. But at the end of the day, I do think they will be fine. They'll bounce back. They have a bye this week, finally their first bye of the season. So they're going to have lots of time to, stew over the loss and get motivated for the next week. I believe they play Calgary for the 3rd time after the bye week. So exciting for them to see if they can bounce back from that first loss. And then for the Alouettes, talk about a team that really needed to win this game. I think the big storyline in this game was how that defensive line completely controlled the line of scrimmage for the Alouettes. Mike Moore was a beast. He really looked like his 2019 self from the Edmonton Elks, and he was just so dominant all game long. There was a couple of occasions that they lined him up at defensive end, and he rushed against Stanley Bryan, and he just completely blew by Stanley Bryan, who I consider, most people consider, the best offensive lineman in our game. So honestly, just amazing work by the defensive line, by the Alouettes in this one. I really thought that was what won the game for them. And I think Trevor Harris, even though the stats aren't the best, it didn't throw a touchdown. I don't think he threw an interception either. But that's the key thing. He did not turn the ball over. That was super crucial in this game. So, he was able to lead that game-tying drive late in the 4th quarter. And I thought that was really crucial, gave them the chance to be in a position that Winnipeg makes a mistake, and they took advantage of it and got the W. So congratulations to the Alouettes to be the first team to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the 2022 CFL season. And then the Friday night game between the Hamilton Tiger-Cats and the Toronto Argonauts, with the Hamilton Tiger-Cats winning the game 34-27 in comeback fashion in the 4th quarter. And we'll start with that point right away. The Tiger-Cats finally won a 4th quarter this season. And honestly, that's just the huge storyline here, because they have just really just tanked in the 4th quarter. They've been one of the better teams in the league through the first 3 quarters of games this season, but they've just fallen apart in 4th quarters. But in this game, it was kind of the opposite. They were trailing going into halftime, and they were trailing by 7 points in the 4th quarter. They get a big punt return touchdown from Lawrence Woods that was called back by a penalty, and the officiating was actually, in my opinion, was pretty poor in this game, and just overall the whole entire weekend, in my opinion. So, but that's besides the point. The next play after that touchdown is called back. Matthew Schultz finds Tim White for a 60-yard touchdown, and that's the play that Tim White, I've been waiting to see from him all season. He is the most explosive player on this offense, and he needs to play like that for this team to have a chance to win, especially with Braylon Addison out. So I thought that was crucial. The Tiger-Cats really dug deep, and they desperately needed this victory. Sets up a great matchup with Montreal this coming weekend. And then for the Argos, I thought the big storyline was that Andrew Harris got injured early on in this game. I think it was a pectoral injury, just waiting to see the severity of it. Just doesn't look good for that. And then Brandon Banks was also very quiet. So their 2 big off-season additions, were very quiet in this game for the Argos. So I thought that was a big point that why they weren't able to come away with the victory here. I didn't think McLeod Bethel-Thompson played all too badly. Like most games this season, I don't think he's played that bad so far this season, and I just think that the guys around him just didn't step up in this one, and that's why the Argos fell short in the end. And then the big one between the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders, perhaps the game of the year, with the BC Lions coming back to win this game 41-40, down by 10 points, or sorry, 9 points in the last 3 minutes. And this was just an incredibly impressive game from the BC Lions. They fell behind early in this game. I believe it was 20-3 in the first quarter. And they just showed the resiliency and how explosive they are. I don't think there's any team in the league, even the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that compares to how explosive they are and how quickly they can answer you with a score. So this was incredibly impressive. Nathan Rourke is doing incredible things. He just has the, the presence of a veteran. He has the resiliency, obviously throwing the early picks in this game, and he just completely responded, put the team on his back. And these receivers that he has, man, what a group of receivers that they have. Brian Burnham really showed you that he's still one of the best receivers in the league in this one. And then Dominic Rhymes continuing his outstanding season. I believe it was like his 9th or 10th touchdown in this game. So, just incredible stuff from the BC Lions. They come back. And then from the Calgary Stampeders' point of view, just a very disappointing result, just because the 3 crucial games of the season, the 2 games against Winnipeg, and then obviously this one, they all end up losing. And this is ultimately what's going to force them to probably be on the road to start the playoffs this year. And, Bo Levi Mitchell was very frustrated after this game. It was very, apparent. But, I don't know what the Stampeders really have to do going forward. They just don't execute late in games. They don't close the games that they have had chances to win. I think they could have beat Winnipeg both times. They easily could have beat BC in this game, but they just could not close it out. And their offense, I think, is a lot to blame for that, because these receivers are just not making the plays that we saw the BC Lions receivers making over on the other side. And then Bo Levi Mitchell obviously not playing up to the level that Nathan Rourke or Zach Collaros has been this year. So I think Mitchell's been okay this year, but he's definitely not on the same level. And it's really just a 2-tiered league in terms of the quarterbacks right now, with Rourke and Collaros, the 2 guys at the top. So, I think the Stampeders need their best players to play better, and ultimately that's probably the best way I could say it. So honestly, I think the Stampeders can bounce back going forward, but this was a devastating loss in terms of their playoff fate this season, in terms of hosting a game in the playoffs. And then the final game of the week, which was also a good one, between the Edmonton Elks and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, with the Saskatchewan Roughriders winning this game 34-23, even though it was much closer than that, almost all the way to the end. But the Elks just found a way to, I don't know what's the best word to say it, elk it. They just have not been able to close out games late in games, and that's why they find themselves with a 2-7 record. They have every opportunity to win this game, but just the crucial execution, that goal line fumble where, they had a chance. I think it was 1st and goal at the time to take the lead, and they muff, a handoff, and ends up being a turnover, and ultimately they leave points on the board. They just cannot execute again in those late game scenarios. And I think they're also not really getting the great quarterback play. They're not getting great play calling from their offensive coordinator especially. And obviously I think that big PI late in the game was also very crucial to deciding this game. I thought that's when the game really swung in Saskatchewan's favor. So yeah, I made the mistake of taking the Edmonton Elks to win this game, but ultimately I thought for a long time in this game that they were actually going to be able to pull it off, but still they have that crazy losing streak still alive at home, and just unfortunate to see. I really wanted to see them get their first win at home this year. And then for the Saskatchewan perspective, I felt that Cody Fajardo actually moved around really well in this game. I think that there were a couple of really bad throws. That one interception in particular was really rough, probably one of the worst interceptions you'll see a quarterback throw this season. But at the end of the day, they got the win. That was super crucial because they needed to stop the bleeding, separate themselves from Edmonton in the standings, and we'll see what happens as they run the gauntlet in the second half of the season, playing Winnipeg, I believe, 3 times, Calgary twice. I think they play BC 2 more times. So it's going to be tough for the Rough Riders going forward, but they get the win here and they set themselves up pretty well for the crossover spot right now in the playoff race. But with that said, that is going to be the end of today's recap, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Once again, my name is Jason. If you want to support the channel, as always, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and be sure to let me know what you think of this week down in the comment section. And with that said, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.